Hello, and welcome to Megan Friesen's Technology Article Review, Assignment 1 in TE 878. I chose to review the article entitled Comparative Analysis of National Teacher Surveys by Brianna Pressey. I selected this article because I find learning the thoughts and attitudes of K-12 teachers about their use of technology in the classroom important to my current professional role at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. As I help new college students make a smoother academic transition to UNL, it's important that I have a strong understanding of their educational background and experiences, especially with technology. Pressey's article provides me an opportunity to learn more about our students, their teachers, and their experiences using technology, which helps me provide insight on how we can be more effective in reaching our students, especially those just beginning at the university. So Pressey's article provides a side-by-side comparison of 5 high-profile surveys of teachers and their technology use. Each survey outlines the thoughts and attitudes of K-12 classroom teachers on technology practices and arranges their findings by themes and sub-themes. So the 5 surveys that were featured in the article, they include the Gates Foundation's Technology and Effective Teaching in the U.S., the Joan Gans Cooney Center's National Survey of Teacher Attitudes and Beliefs on Digital Games and Learning, Common Sense Media's Children, Teens, and Entertainment Media, PBS Learning Media's Teacher Technology Usage Survey, and the Pew Research Center's Internet and American Life Project Online Survey of Teachers. So the themes in which these articles outline include how teachers use technology in the classroom, such as games, video content, internet researching, and so forth. Technology used by teacher characteristics, such as the teacher's comfort level with technology, how frequently they use the classroom technology that's available. How about the generational differences that are different between younger teachers versus older teachers, the years of teaching experience, the type of subject matter that is taught, the type of school community type and socioeconomic status of the school and the students. Other themes include the benefits of technology for student learning, such as their increased motivation, their personalized and individual learning styles and abilities, the collaboration between students and their pro-social behavior, as well as student productivity. Another theme includes the barrier to classroom implementation of technology, such as the access to technology, the time constraints, and testing and reform that is required of teachers these days, technology and its consideration as a distraction in the classroom, the teacher's skepticism of the benefits of technology, and so forth. And the last 2 themes that were included in the surveys include the need of professional development for teachers in terms of technology, as well as the supports that are available for integrating technology into the classroom, such as funding and administrative support. So Pressey shared many interesting findings as part of the article review. Some of the biggest findings and takeaways from the article that impact me in my professional role include any of these things that I will now go over. So first of all, I found that the topic of PCs, whiteboards, tablets, and projectors being deemed as having the greatest potential for enhancing education. So it's important to understand what types of devices teachers and students find most effective to enhance education so that money and time and energy can be spent developing students, developing teachers, and making sure that these resources are available for our students. Because we want to make use of our budgets and our time, since both are precious resources. It's also important to understand that 62% of teachers reported that their personal comfort level is the biggest barrier to incorporating technology into teaching. So it's interesting to me that sometimes as a younger professional, even I have that as a barrier to incorporating technology into teaching or working with my students. There's so many different technologies that appear all the time, or different kinds of social media or different apps or different websites, and just being aware of those things, it takes so much time and energy to not only become aware of them, but how to use them and how to use them in an educational sense with with our students. So not only am I seeing this as a barrier, but 62% of my educational peers also find that as a barrier. Also, most teachers are very confident in their ability to use with technology, but many feel that their students know more about technology than they do. And that is very true. I think students these days, they are always on top of what's the newest app, what's the newest website, what's the newest gadget or thing, and they want to play with it, and they just have that knack about them. And so it's important to understand that maybe sometimes we're not the best experts with technology as an educator, and maybe our students can teach us a few things about technology. And then we can figure out as teachers, how can we utilize this resource to better educate our students, or how to help them become more familiar with course content, or how to practice their learning or find a different kind of learning style or technique for learning certain kind of material. Additionally, there are a lot of generational differences in how teachers experience the impact of digital technologies in their professional lives. So, for example, an instructor who's been in the classroom for many, many years might have a different experience with technology than a brand new teacher right out of college. And so it's important to understand this one, because sometimes in the college setting, a lot of our instructors are so much older than our students, or so much older than maybe a brand new instructor. And so their experience with technology is very different and might be a little more limited. And they might be a little more hesitant to practice with technologies or incorporate them into the classroom in fear of not looking as smart as they want to be to their students. And so sometimes we have to understand that the use of technology in a college classroom specifically might be a little bit different than what students are experiencing in high school, and how do we help prepare them for those differences. Another finding is that the devices in the classroom may vary based on the subject being taught. So the technology devices for an English classroom versus an economics classroom might be very different, or for marketing versus management, and how do you teach those topics, and then how do you help students become familiar with the technology that they might use in the career field within those specific subjects is important to understand. And so I think as educators, it's important to realize these things and incorporate that into the educational lessons, as well as making sure students are prepared career-wise to utilize those technologies. Another finding is that teachers believe technology tools can help students stay motivated and engage in the learning process more deeply. So technology, to me, can also make learning more fun. And so if students are having more fun in the educational process, such as playing games or having a competition, they might be more motivated and engaged in the learning. And so by using different kinds of techniques, they might learn the material more deeply. They might want to practice a little bit more. It just might make learning a little bit more fun. So I think that's important for teachers to know and realize, because if they can make learning more fun, it's a better experience for not only the students, but their peers, and then their future employees or employers or colleagues someday, because then they've learned the material more deeply and might be a little bit more motivated to want to do well. An additional finding is that 73% of teachers believe technology has the potential to respond to a variety of different learning styles. So technology can help different kinds of learners experience educational content in a way that they learn best. So visual content versus auditory versus maybe a more hands-on technique. Technology can help students learn in a way that they learn best. And so 73% of teachers understand this and believe this. And so I think that's important to understand that as in the college setting as well, because we have to continue to make sure that we're meeting the needs of students and teaching in a way that meets their learning styles. Another finding is that cost, the lack of technology resources, and time constraints are the top barriers for using technology in the classroom. So of course, having the funding available to purchase different kinds of technology is definitely a barrier, because budgets are limited and scarce, and so you have to be very proactive and efficient and really just understand that that is a limitation to technology in the classroom, as well as the resources themselves. So things like setting up the technology themselves, the IT staff, and and having all of the training that comes with it is another barrier, as well as the time constraints in learning the material and how to teach these things to students and how to use that technology in the classroom. Another finding is that some teachers say that technology may hurt student attention spans, writing skills, and critical thinking skills. So some may say that, students, especially the Generation Z, which is where our younger students are coming up from, they're used to wanting information very quickly and finding an answer very quickly, and wanting to change from one subject to the next. And so that, I don't know if technology plays a part in that, but it might. And so that's something that teachers believe. They also believe that technology may impact their writing skills, and that can be seen through the use of so much texting or so Twitter or just short text and not using punctuation as much in their social media encounters, as well as their critical thinking ability. Maybe students use the internet to find answers very quickly rather than trying to find the answer out themselves and tinkering with things. So that was a finding to me. And then my final finding is that teachers say they need more training on specific technologies and how to integrate them into the classroom. And this is very important to understand as well, because I think that if we know that teachers need help on learning these things and how to integrate them into the classroom, that we should be cognizant of this and provide the budget and the support to do so that our students are gaining the most from their educational experiences. So overall, my responses to the article and to press these findings is I found that most valuable in the following different ways. So the understanding of the effects of K-12 technology use on being the most prepared for college success. So just understanding, I want my students as freshmen to be most prepared and successful. So what devices should we provide for them? What purposes should those devices have? And what are the social effects of using such things? I also found it very, very interesting that the instructor comfort level with technology serves as both a barrier and a success, I guess, for technology in the classroom, because if we can educate our instructors more about technology, they'll provide it more for our students, and then hopefully the benefits of technology will come more from that. And as well as, not only just the comfort level of our instructors, but the need for their professional development and making sure that we're providing that and encouraging staff to take care of their own educational needs as well and be lifelong learners, especially in terms of technology. I also found the benefits of technology for learning important to pay attention to, such as the student collaboration and the uses for that, and how they can access knowledge now differently than they have in the past, how we can personalize their instruction, and how we can meet their learning needs through the use of technology. As well as the barriers to technology I found was very interesting as well. So the cost, resources, training, and time are all very important to pay attention to. So in conclusion, Pressy's article focused on comparing 5 surveys comparing teacher attitudes and uses of technology. The findings helped me to better understand the needs and uses of technology, as well as some of the barriers to technology in education. I also have a better grasp of some of the unique technology needs and experiences of my students and how it affects their experiences in college. Thank you.